Welcome to Breaking Fears.
Hello everyone, how are you today? Today's video is going to be about dating relationships. Not deep diving in it, but just I'm going to give like three topics, three categories of what personally I feel that you should think about when you're getting into a relationship. For what I went through and the fears that I had in my relationships. So I hope what I do today helps you out, gives you a little guidance, and I guess a little thought of security with what I have stated today. So again, I'm not a psychologist and I'm not a counselor. This is just my personal lessons learned in life, the wisdom that I can give to you, and hopefully this will help you out in your relationship and the way you're building a relationship up. First thing I want to do is give a Bible verse before I go into this. And the first Bible verse is, I'm going to read it out. 2 Timothy 1:7. For God gave us a spirit not of fear, but of power and love and self-control. So as I read that out, the reason why I read that out is I'm going to start out with what about my first relationship and where it went through, meaning my first relationship getting married. So that story is that I met a young lady and we dated for a couple of months, and I'll never forget that she had stated she wanted to move out where she was at. I was living at home, she was living with someone at home, and I was going to school or going to college. And I wasn't looking to move out. I wanted to finish college before I moved out. And when she made that statement, I kind of like blew it off. So she said it again, and she said, if I do not move out with her, meaning me, if I do not move out with her, she would find somebody else that will move out with her. Fear, I thought that if she found, basically I was thinking she's going to look for another guy, move out with another guy, and I would no longer have her as a girlfriend. That was my fear, and that was my first mistake in the relationship. Why do I say that? I wasn't in love. I didn't know the young lady all that great because, again, we just a couple of months. And she didn't know me, but we were in a rush to move out. And basically, she was in a rush to get out of the situation she was in. And I was rushing into a situation so I didn't lose a possible good relationship, I was thinking. So eventually we moved in together. And it was okay, but we started finding out more about each other. I was in love with the thought of, hey, I'm going to build a family with this and all this good stuff. But I had another fear, and that fear was shacking up with somebody without being married. So that was my second fear that kind of rushed into a relationship or a marriage, to say. As we all know and we've heard, people are saying, especially a lot of Christians, I'm not even going to say a Christian, a lot of people that believe in God would say, oh, you shouldn't shack up with someone, it's a sin, blah, 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 blah. That was embedded in my heart. That was embedded in my mind. So I had to fix it. And the only way I could fix it is to marry the young lady. So we did that. Oh, I was in love with the thought of I had a wife. Again, none of this was the fact that I loved the woman. It was the fact of what was going on, the scenario that was going on. So long story short, it ended. We got a divorce. Third fear, I got a divorce. What in the world can I get remarried? All this stuff, because again, I believe in God, and I was trying to do the right thing. So as I dove into the Bible more to find out what I could do, what did I do after my divorce, I did start learning a little bit more about myself as well. One, even though I didn't read the Bible when I was younger, even though up to that point I never really read the Bible, as it says in the Bible, the Word is embedded in us, whether we like it or not. It's just for us to read and make sure that we're following that path, that the directions that were embedded in us, life's lesson, life's instructions, as I would say. And I found out I was doing a lot of it, but also doing stuff that was not of the Word. I wasn't leading a righteous life, but I was, without reading the Bible, doing righteous things. So as I was doing that and learning about myself, I thought to myself, okay, I know I love myself, because that's the first thing that you should know. You should know I loved myself prior to that marriage. I loved who Rico was. I loved me. Yeah, I did, like I said, I wasn't leading a righteous life. I did stuff wrong. I stole, I lied, and those aren't good things. But anyway, I had turned all that stuff around after I graduated from high school. Pretty much my senior year, I started changing with that stuff. And again, I didn't read the Bible about it. Just didn't feel right to lie and steal. But anyway, I dove into the Bible, learned some things about myself, more things about myself. And then I started thinking, hey, if I want to get in a relationship, I should write down what I want in a woman. Now, a little going back to the Bible, as we all know the story about Adam and Eve. Adam was on the earth, roaming around, playing with the animals, eating off the land, loving life, running around butt naked, nothing on, just having a great time. Only problem was he had no one to talk to. So he had asked God to give him somebody to talk to. So that's when God created woman to allow Adam to talk to. That's how I'm going to talk about that story. Go read the Bible, Genesis, read it. So, with that being said, I was going to school, reading the Word, getting my life together after my divorce. Because I wanted to finish school. I think I didn't start dating until like 4 years later. And when I started dating, like I said, I really knew who I was even better now. And I started looking for a home because I wanted to find out, okay, now I know I love myself. Can I live by myself? Can I live with me? Can I live alone with me? That's what you need to ask yourself. Can you live alone with yourself? Do you love yourself? Can you live alone by yourself? So I started looking for a home. But as I was looking for a home, I started dating. So I dated a few young ladies, and I learned a lot about dating. I learned a lot about women. And I do have two sisters, so knowing how they are, I know a little bit about women too. But I'm not an expert. Again, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a counselor, and I'm not saying that I know everything about women. I do not know everything about women. Hell, I don't know everything about a man, so. But anyway, I know a lot about me, but that's it. Anyway, I decided to start dating, and I wrote my list out what I want. The issue comes to, the point that it comes to, this is topic number one. The issue that I found out is that a lot of, again, I was dating women, so a lot of women couldn't hold to the list that I had created. I had 3 very important things on the list, the top 3 things on the list. They're very simple. And when I tell them to you, I'm not going to tell you all my list because I want you, your list that you create has to be off of your heart, has to be something that comes from you, has to be your yin to your yang on that list. And that's what my list was about, the yin to my yang. Meaning, after the first three things, the woman had to, where I was weak, had to be strong. Or she was weak, I had to be strong to match up perfectly. If something was happening and I'm like, oh, I can't handle this, she could step up. If something was happening and she goes, oh, I can't handle this, I could step up. That's what makes a good, solid relationship. Well, that's another thing that makes a good, solid relationship. No, other thing is understanding and knowing the other person. So, I made my list, and I'll tell you the first three things because these are the first three things that you could use to start your list because they're common, easy things. First one, love God. That was the number one. You have to love God. I love him, you better love him. Second thing was that you have to love yourself. I love myself. I love what I've become. And I would want that individual to feel the same about themselves. They shouldn't have to get love from me to feel happy and to feel like they're doing something. That comes from God. And that's the relationship where I say the person had to love God. I love God. And I ask God every day to help me to do better. And I push to do better. I can't say I always do better, but I try to. And that's the second thing, is to love yourself. The third thing, take accountability of the things that you do. If you're doing something wrong, don't try to say that somebody pushed you into doing it. You cannot change somebody. You cannot force. I'm sorry, I jumped ahead a little bit. You can't blame somebody and say that they forced you or changed you to do something. You did it on your own. We all make decisions on our own. We make decisions that we want to do. No one forces us to do it. We make that decision. If somebody tells you to date somebody and that person's a jerk and you know that person's a jerk, but you date him anyways, shame on you. You knew it. Don't go blaming the person who said, oh, you should date him. They didn't. There's no way that person dragged you over to the other person and made you do that. You did it. So I'm not going to just keep drilling on that, but you have to take responsibility of the things that you do. And a lot of young ladies that I dated could not do these simple, easy things. They could only do one of them. Sometimes they touched two, but they couldn't do them. And yes, they had to do all of them. Not one of them, all of them. That was on my list. Easy things to do. So a lot of them that I dated couldn't do it. And I'm not the type of person that just keeps dating somebody. Because if you can't do these things, what's the point in further going on? I know some people say, oh, but maybe they might change, or you try to change them. Again, when I said I've jumped ahead, now I'm on that point. I can't change a person. I can't change you. You have to change you. No one can change you but you. Don't go into a relationship thinking you're going to change somebody. Example, me and my wife. She helps me recognize the things that I need to change, that I want to change. And I hope that's the same thing that I do with her. And I tell her, I said, if I'm doing something that irritates you, let me know. And then when she does, I start thinking, would I want somebody to do that to me? Would I want that to happen to me? It's like that golden rule that people used to always say, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. No, that's not in the Bible. Where that came from, or where that golden rule formed from, was from Luke 6:31, and I'll read it real quick. And as ye would that men should do to you, do ye also to them likewise. Again, and as ye would that men should do to you, do ye also to them likewise. Don't try to change somebody. Let them change themselves and let them reflect on that golden rule. If they think it's wrong, they'll change. But if they don't think it's wrong, guess what? They're not going to change. Again, you got to let that person change themselves. So let's go on to the second topic that I wanted to talk about. And that is finding that person once you realize who you are. Once that person is starting to fit that bill, that list that you have. Don't go shacking up with them without a good cause. I mean, you got to love that person. And you shouldn't have to wait around. Again, this is the second issue or topic that I want to talk about. You shouldn't have to wait around for somebody to say, hey, I love you, let's get married. If it's 5+ years and you haven't heard that, something's not right. And especially if you're living together. You're already living together. Why aren't you married? Now, again, I know. Sometimes people are afraid of marriage. They're afraid of the word marriage because of what happened to them in their life, meaning their parents got divorced, they were in a relationship, now they bring that toxicity into their new relationship because they were married before and now they're afraid to get married again because they're afraid they're going to get divorced again. I didn't have that issue. So I can't sit up here and say, I had a fear of getting married because I got a divorce. There was no fear about that, and there was no fear of marriage. It was just the fear that I had was getting in bad relationships. So, with that being said, let me tell you a little thing about my issue, like I said, with and then again, it's not being afraid of getting married. And let me tell you what my fear was, because like I said, I didn't have a fear of getting married. With my wife, my fear was that it was too perfect. She hit the list. Guys, she hit the list. And we all know the physical look brings you into talking. If the person looks attractive to you, you're going to talk to them. Now comes the mental connection. If that mental connection is not there, the relationship's over. You can't even go any further. Some people want to just have the sex because they're, the physical thing. But to me, it's pointless because there's no feeling in it. So, like I said, the physical thing, I didn't even put the physical thing on my list. You can do it if you want to, but we all know physical is seeing something. The physical thing is just a physical thing. You see something that you like, but to enjoy it, to keep with it, you have to have that connection, that mental connection. So, getting back to what I was saying. So everything was perfect. I had a vision one day when me and my wife was sitting, we were dating, and we were at my house, and we were watching Where's Nemo? Yes, the cartoon. Because that's one of the things that, like I said, we had a lot of things in common, but at the same time, we didn't have a lot of things in common. And that's one of the things that we had in common. We were like cartoon things too. But anyway, so we were watching it, and my vision that I had was this little child was running around my coffee table, singing and dancing while we were watching a cartoon. That scared me. Prior to that, when we met and stuff, and she stated her name, this was the first scare, was that her name was the same as my mom's. Ooh, that was scary. How many women did, I wonder how many guys out there met a woman with the same name as their mom. That was scary. So then the vision came. That was a second scare. Third scare was when I finally told my brother, because this was after the vision. I had to tell my brother about what I saw. And I never told him about her. I never told him that I was dating anybody. Because to me, I have to really like that person and introduce them to the people that are really close to me. So he goes, wow. He goes, so what's her name? And I told him her name. And it's out of the blue. He just goes, oh, that's the one. She's the one. She's the one you're going to get married to. That scared me. I mean, I was, at this point, I'm done. You know, it's too perfect. I'm done. My brother's saying that I'm done. So I didn't call her for a week after that day. And she calls me back. She didn't jump on me. She didn't yell at me. And I was actually surprised. And we just spoke. And she just basically was saying, you know, I was just calling to find out. I didn't hear from you. And I was just making sure you're okay. So we hung up. So I'm like, okay, she's going to, you know, I'm thinking to myself, she's going to call me back and she's going to just rip into me. Oh, you no good bastard. You never called me. What? Whatever. What man would do that? That's what I was thinking she was going to do. So I waited an hour. I think it was a couple hours. And I called her back. And I was thinking to myself, okay, now she's going to rip into me. And she picks up the phone like, you know, hey, what's up? You know, we just spoke. Are you okay? You know, like nothing to it. So at that point, I'm sitting there thinking, she's not mad. And I said, and angry or nothing. And maybe, no, I think we're dating. I can't remember if we're dating or we're just doing a friendship thing. But anyway, we were together. We weren't seeing anybody else. And so I asked her to go out to the movies again. And we went, and from that point on, here we are, married. Married, happy. There's a commercial where the guy walks, the lady's like talking about insurance or something like that. And the guy comes walking through, I'll probably play it in the video. And she goes, yep, that was my whatever, I forgot the guy's name. So the guy goes walking through with his food. He goes, yep, you one lucky lady. So I say that to my wife as a joke. Because we both saw the commercial. We just thought it was hilarious. So, but anyway, not to get off topic. Anyway, that was my fear in my relationship. Again, it wasn't about remarrying. It was too perfect. Everything was perfect. So my point with this second thing is when you're at that point where you know yourself, you could, you know, you move out and you could live on your own. And like I said, like Adam and Eve, he was by himself, then he wanted somebody. And once you get to that point where you're wanting somebody to share that life, make sure they're hitting that list. Make sure that they're your yin to your yang. Third topic, and what I want to do is read another verse to you, and that verse is 1 Corinthians 15:33. Do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. Do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. I thought that was good to put in here because, again, you get somebody and you're trying to learn about them and you're hoping that this is a good relationship, but that person doesn't want to commit, basically, and you're dating them for 5+ years. Something's wrong. Something's wrong. Especially, like I said, is if you're shacked up, if you're living together and they still don't want to marry you, something's wrong. If it's that fear of getting married because of past history, they need to go get some type of counseling. They need to work that out. they need to fix themselves. Like I said, you need to fix yourself before you get into a relationship. Don't get in a relationship busted and battered and beat up and mess up somebody else's character. And then they bring that into another relationship because what you did to them, knowing that you're not ready. So, for those of you, like I said, who have the list, you know who you are, be very careful about that. Don't go into 2024 in that type of situation. It's not good. It's not good at all. So the third one is once you find that person and you're building that relationship and you both know that you want to get married, you love each other, work together. I would even say do some pre-counseling like we did to make sure that you're on the same path. Because even when you get married, you're not always going to be the same person as you were because you're growing. But you can grow together. And you're going to still want to do your thing, and they're going to still want to do their thing, but you're still going to want to be there together doing those things. So you got to want to share those moments and agree to share those moments. So last verse that I want to read is First Thessalonians 5:11. Therefore, encourage one another and build each other up, just as in fact you are doing. Don't knock that person down. Don't bring in, again, don't revert back to your old relationships when you're in a good new relationship. The past is the past. Go with the future. Do the right thing. Pray God for wisdom. Pray to God to live righteous. Love. Love, 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 love. Love. Build each other up. Don't knock each other down. Because knocking each other down, you're not going to be able to cross that bridge of marriage. And if you do, I feel sorry for you, because this is going to be a hell of a journey, and more than likely you're going to split up. Don't go through life knocking your mate down. You got to remember, especially when you get married, like it says in the Bible, you become one. You cleave to that spouse and you become one. Now it's you together. As one individual, you got to focus it on that one. You're together as one individual going through life, fighting all the evils that are coming to you because they see something that God brought together that is good. And that evil does not want to see that. So, like it says in Thessalonians 5:11, encourage one another and build. Pray to God. Pray with each other to God for love, righteousness, and wisdom. And with all that, those are my three main points to me of building a solid relationship. You know, the foundation is God. That's why I have him on my number one list. That's the foundation. And if you have a foundation, you're building on solid ground. So, I want to say thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Please like. Please click the like button. I need to know that I would like to know that people are getting something out of this. This is my legacy. And I didn't do this to make a career out of it. I didn't do it to be a celebrity or anything like that. I'm doing this to leave a legacy, and especially when the day comes where I pass, my child doesn't have to always try to remember what I had told them. That they can, if these videos are still out, go on YouTube and see these videos and pick the video that they need that inspiration from their dad, because they're my legacy. And this portion of it is just part of my legacy. So, again, please like, subscribe, because I like to know that not only am I helping them, I'm helping somebody out there in the world with the wisdom that I gained and the lessons I learned in life. And I hope that this is passed on to you, that you can overcome those fears in life. Thank you for watching. Until our next video. See ya.
One thing I could say to Hank would be thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Hank.
You are one lucky lady.
Mm-hmm.